Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. This is where I take 5 topics related to Magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each topic. I then go through to the next topic. It's quick, it's snappy, you never know what you're going to get. First of all, thank you very much for everyone that tuned in last week and watched the Nemid Phoenix 5x5 special where I got Nemid to perform 5 card tricks, his 5 favourite card tricks, and rate each one of them, and then I talked about his choices. It seems to be a really popular video for the channel, so I am going to be doing that again in the future. I'm going to be doing it with other magicians, some magicians that you've never heard of, other magicians that you will definitely have heard of. I think it's a really nice format that I'm going to try and continue to do in the future. I might even revisit Nemid again and get him to do 5 coin tricks or 5 tricks without playing cards, because a lot of people said they wanted to see more of Nemid on this channel, so we can try and make that happen. Today, however, I'm going to do a live performance special. One of the most popular videos on this channel where I show you a live video of me performing at an actual gig, and then I break down the performance and I go step by step through what I did, why I did it, so on and so forth. So I'm going to do a special live performance special. I'm going to have 6 sections on this week's 5x5. One off, never going to happen again. 6 sections, 3 live performances, and then 3 commentary tracks over the top. And I'm going to be discussing stuff like angles, audience management. I'm going to be discussing stuff like trick selection and a load of different stuff that I think you're going to find fascinating. I'm going to be performing a whole bunch of stuff that you've never seen before. So that's going to be interesting as well. So this is going to be a really cool video. A lot of people have asked for more live performances on the channel. So here it is, a live performance special right here on Magic TV. My name's Craig Michael Battery. I'm part of the entertainment here today. I'm the magician. I know it's so exciting. Like, honestly, you need to contain your excitement a little bit, sir, but it's wonderful. Would you like to see a quick trick? So much easier when people say yes. This is Matt. He's videoing everything for Sandy and Patsy, so we're videoing it and sending it over to them. So, here's a question for you. Are you a betting man, sir? No. We're going to have a bet. Not for money, just for fun. You do not want to play me for money. I should come with a public service announcement, but we're going to play for fun, okay? And it uses a pack of 52 playing cards. What's your name, sir? Freddie. And what's your name?
Mary.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you both. So, 52 playing cards. They're all there. They're all there, friends. I'm going to have you pick a card. Now, it is not a card trick. Repeat, this is not a card trick. So this is the sort of trick where you pick a card and I find it. It's way more impressive than that. Okay? I just need to make sure that I have something that I'm looking for. The problem with me is I am the single most disorganized person in the world, and I might not have what I'm looking for. So instead, I'm going to launch immediately into a different trick. Okay. It's seamless. Nobody ever notices. It's so good. So instead, put your trick down for a second. So there we go. I'd like you to grab a number card, not a picture card, but a number card. Any card with a number on?
Got it? Bring it out?
Yeah, go for it. Do me a favour to show the card to all your friends. And apparently I'm not your friend. I thought we were bonding over this actual experience, but no. I'm going to give you a pen. Can you write your name on the face of your card? Not on the back, on the face. Not on your face, on the face of the card. That would be amazing. And underneath it could be your bank account number and sort code. That would be even better. I'll take the pen back. That's how I got it. Wonderful stuff. And now we are ready to begin. You're going to put the card back, so just say stop. Stop. Now put the card back there. Did you see the card? This is the card.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, sir. Roughly how many cards down in the pack would you say the card is?
20.
I'm going to leave it right there. Make sure I don't cheat. It goes right there into that position. I'm going to show you the difference between sleight of hand and real magic. Now, sleight of hand means the hand is faster than the eye. So I'm going to take the jack. Now, that's not your card. 1 down, 51 to go. It's a long trick, it takes a while. Watch the jack. If you rub the jack in the right spot, and it has to be the right spot, that jack changes into the card with your name on it. I know. Now that's not real magic. Real magic looks like this. See, if I take that 4, and I pop it about halfway down, I put it all the way in, square up the sides. All I have to do is riffle, and when I do, your card comes straight to the top of the pack. Now, it's not like it's a deck full of 4s. But even if it was, it's the only one in the pack with your name on it. By the way, sir, I forgot to do something. It's my fault. I'm going to put a little box down there. Your job is to make sure that I don't touch the box, okay? Now we'll do this again. Watch the 4. It goes right there. Can you push it in for me? Very good. And press the button on top. Turn the top card over. I mean, frankly, I have no idea how this sort of thing works. This just happens to me. It's crazy. Now look, I'm going to go really slowly one last time. There's the 4. Do you see it right there?
Yeah.
And it's got your name on it. I'm going to flip it over and give you one last look. Do you see the card there? Is that there? The 4 goes in the middle of this half. This half goes in the middle of this half. So you can see it's going right there in the middle of the middle of the middle, which is frankly about as middle as you're going to get. Now I'll show you it's not on top. Likewise, I'll show you it's not on the bottom. It's not that the card comes to the top card turns into your card. But you don't normally see this because the card is normally face down. So I'll leave it face up. Do you see the card there? Watch the king. It looks something like this. 1, 2, 3.
What?
I know! One last time. I'll take the 4, you take half the cards. Now with half the deck it's easier to follow. Do me a favour, sir, just push it in for me. Fantastic, thank you. Press the button on top.
Which one?
Right there. Yes. A little bit harder. That's too hard. If you push it that hard, it won't work. It won't go to the top of my half. It'll go to the top of your half, sir. Look at that, top card. Could it be? Oh my gosh. I know. I've seen it before. I still don't know how. You know what's really weird? Hold this for me, because what's really strange is this. From the very beginning, I had a wallet in my pocket. Now, inside the wallet, there's no money. That's because I'm married with children. But there is a zippered compartment, and inside there, there's one thing and one thing only.
Put it out, Maya.
Yeah, go for it, Maya. Look at that.
No!
It's not possible. Don't be.
And yeah, I love how you're checking the top card. He didn't sign all of the cards. Trust me, he didn't. You know what's really going to confuse you guys, though, when you go home later and you think about this? And can you hold that again for me? What's really going to confuse you is this. You see, from the very beginning, do you remember what I did, Maya? I told you to keep an eye on that little box. The box of mystery. The reason I wanted her to keep an eye on it is because this is truly impossible. Inside there is a folded up card. I love the look on your face. Do me a favour. Take that card. If that's your card, let me get the drink.
Yeah, it's
Look at that. Oh my God.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's Craig always said, I don't know.
So you can keep that as a souvenir and put it up in your bedroom wall next to the One Direction posters. That's for you. There you go. Okay, so all 3 of the performances you're going to see on this video are shot at the same event, which is a wedding reception, and this is drinks. This is drinks on arrival. Now, notice the introduction. I've spoken many times about what to say when you go up to a group of people, talking about, hey, my name's Craig. I'm a magician. Let me show you a trick. Now, I'm opening with a card routine here, and the reason is I've had a lot of people ask me 2 questions on the channel. The first question is, how do you do, can we see your ambitious card? I've never actually done my ambitious card on a Magic Live, purely because it's not that much different to anyone else's ambitious card. But, people want to see it, so I'm going to show you in this performance. And secondly, how do you start, if you're going to perform card magic, how do you open with card magic? And I think the key thing here is to try and make it really interesting. And just try and make it, try and put across immediately that they're going to see something different. Now, you'll see here that I'm breaking my own rules. The reason that I'm breaking my own rules, and I wanted you to see this, is because I was going to go into a different trick. I was actually going to go into Sticker Kicker by Roddy McGee, but I couldn't find my sticker. I couldn't find my little pack of stickers. It was literally my first table. I left them up in my green room and I didn't realise. And it's a mistake that everybody can make. I still make the mistake right now. So I don't know if you noticed, I palmed the 2 cards off that I needed on the top of the deck, and I just went into another routine. I was actually going to go into an ambitious card after Sticker Kicker, but I just changed it. However, the point is, by having Sticker Kicker as the first routine, it's something that's very different to a normal card trick, because you're not having them pick a card. You're talking about how it's going to be a gambling game. They're going to get a chance to win some money. That didn't happen, but no problem. Instead, you deal with the problem, and this is what I've talked about before. The way to deal with issues is by knowing ahead of time how you're going to get out of it. In that case, I just went into another trick. So the control I used is the slipstream control. If you ask my opinion, the slipstream control is one of the, if not the best controls in Magic. Now, I always like to start off, if I'm doing an ambitious card, with a revelation. I like to do a color change. Sometimes it's a snap change. Sometimes it's an Erdnage change. Sometimes it's shapeshifter. Very much depends. But I like to do that. Now, that particular Erdnage change left me with a triple on top of the deck, which is great because it means that the next two phases of the ambitious card, I don't have to do any moves because I'm already set up. Now, the way I justify this is by talking about how you're going to see the difference between sleight of hand and real magic. Now, also notice that because the whole sticker kicker thing threw me, I never put my card in box. That's the Tommy Wonder ring box for the card in box. I never put that down at the beginning of the ambitious card because normally I would have done sticker kicker, put that card box down and gone into that. But because I had to kind of go straight into this and the whole sticker kicker thing threw me a little bit, it meant that I'm putting that card box down partway through the routine. Now, again, it's not a problem. It only becomes an issue when you're performing to spectators if you make it an issue. So I didn't make it an issue. I didn't make out that there was a problem at all. It's just like, hey, oh, by the way, I'm going to need this box a little bit later on. Let me put it down there. Anyway, progressing with the routine. I think it's very important when you're doing an ambitious card, you don't do too many phases. I think this is like a 4, maybe 5 phase routine, and that each phase has to build. I love using the shake change as part of the routine, just purely because it kind of makes sense. You're going to see the moment the card comes to the top of the pack. Now, I don't do the card in mouth as part of this routine. I know a lot of people do card in mouth with an ambitious card. I don't. However, I do like to do this moment where they're holding onto half of the deck and it appears on their half of the deck. Notice I'm looking back and forth. I've got a group surrounding me on all sides. I've got people that are arriving partway through. The lady in the green dress is actually one of the clients. And notice that I'm kind of getting everybody involved. Then, obviously, I'm doing the card in wallet, which is, obviously fairly obvious as to what's happening there. Now, at this point, they're going to think that this is the big finale because it feels like a finale. It feels like the ending, which means I can do absolutely anything. So you see the top change right there as the card goes down into the middle of the deck. And now I'm doing the one-handed card fold. And notice when I do the one-handed card fold, I turn to the right. And the reason is the card's in my right hand. So by turning to the right, I'm blocking all of the angles. Now, the other thing is, when I pick this box up, a lot of people say, how are you going to do the switch out the box? Well, notice I show the card. Look at the faces of the people that are in the audience. They already know what's happening. They're now looking at each other, and that's the moment that you do the change. And then see that I took the drink off the little girl so she could open it up. It's important to control your audience. It's always important to make sure that you're making it easy as possible for them, so that if you need them to do something and they're holding a drink, take the drink off them. This is all stuff that needs to be considered and you need to take into consideration. So when you're looking at this particular footage, I think the 2 take-homes from this is 1, mistakes are going to happen. It doesn't matter how many times you've performed, mistakes are going to happen. The way to deal with it is to know ahead of time what you're going to do, and then remember that the audience don't know ahead of time what you're going to do, so it makes it no problem, kind of going in a different direction. That's absolutely not an issue at all.
Dan, just for a second. Patsy, could you put your drink down just for a second over there as well? We're going to try and do something. This is one of my favourite tricks to perform. It uses a pack of 52 playing cards, but it's not the sort of trick where you pick a card. So can you give your drink to someone you trust? Stick you around. There you go. I love how you had to think about that for a minute. You trust me, Right, you take the cards there, Patsy. What I would like you to do is count 10 cards into my hand out loud, one at a time, into my hand. Yeah, but 1, there you go, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. Pass the rest of the deck across. And what I'd like you to do is hold the cards in between your hands. So you can your hand, put it like that. So I can't get to them or see them anymore. And you're going to do the same thing. 10 cards, please. That would be amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Put the rest of the cards across to Lottie. And do the same thing. Hold these cards in between your hands so I can't get to them. Lottie, your job is the single most important job. So you are going to pick a card. Whatever card you pick, I'm going to make that many cards jump from between between your hands to between your hands. So if you pick a 7, 7 cards will go across. 10, 10 cards will go across. Jack, Queen or King will be 10. Ace will be 1 and a Joker will be your choice. So just say stop.
Your choice.
There. Do you want this card or the bottom card of this packet? The 3. So there's those.
There should be 13.
So I'm going to make 3 cards disappear from here to here. You'll feel them go. You'll most definitely feel them arrive. Brace yourself. Get ready for this. Here we go. Card number 1. Did you feel that?
I saw it go.
You felt nothing. Okay. Now you sound like my wife. Let's do it again. Card number 2. Watch the second one. Thank you. One for us. Watch the second one. Here we go. By the way, I hope you're impressed. I do all my own choreography. Card number 2. One last card. So take that card. On 3, you're going to throw it right there. 1, 2, 3. One missed. So good. Be honest, tell the truth, don't lie. If I told you to make the last card go across, would you believe me? Yeah. Good. So good. How many cards did you have? 10. And Lottie picked a 3, didn't you? 3 from 10?
7.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
How ridiculous. Impossible.
Impossible. It's impossible. That's what I say. But if there's 13 cards there, everyone's going to go crazy. Count them one at a time.
Should I count?
One at a time, yeah, go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards.
I knew my card. Your spoon. Your spoon.
Okay, so the reason I'm using this as the second clip is because this is the routine I went into straight after the ambitious card. One thing I like to do is if I'm performing to a group of people and other people have arrived during the course of the performance, I do like to add something else. And I'll say, hey, you only got here halfway through. Would you like to see something else? Now, we've talked on the channel a lot recently about cards across and all the different ways of doing cards across. And there are a lot of different ways of doing it. When you're doing a walk around gig and there's no table and you're completely surrounded, this is absolutely the best way of doing it. Now, you don't realize, but what I did is I culled 2 3s, and I put them together near the bottom of the deck. Not the very bottom, but I put them near the bottom of the deck. And that's important for what you're going to see in a bit. So then I do the count of the cards. Notice a lot of people are nervous about holding cards out. My right hand is holding out 3 cards at the moment. And notice, nobody's ever looking. Don't make a deal of any of this sort of stuff. Just don't make a deal of any of this sort of stuff. You don't have to. Again, it's the old expression of don't run if you're not being chased. You can hold out anything as long as your focus and attention elsewhere. In the case of this cards across, I was having the other person count 10 cards. I was getting everybody to count along with them, and that's where the attention was focused. And then the cards get loaded back onto the packet. As I say, hold the cards in between your hands. So it's a very natural way of doing that. Now, the nice thing about this cards across is there's no table and you're already so far ahead. Now, you see why I had 2 3s put together in the middle of the deck. It's because I can now get that little girl to pick a card. And I say that's how many cards are going to go across. And by having 2 3s, I can let them choose the bottom card of the one packet or the top card of the other packet. And that really adds an element to this. I see people doing cards across and they don't do that. Having them freely select how many cards go across really, in my opinion, does strengthen the routine. Now, the other thing I'd like to address when it comes to cards across, and really this is advice that works for any type of routine, is the entertainment value to the audience. Cards across can be very dry if you're not careful because there's a lot of dealing, there's a lot of counting, it's a number trick in essence. You got to make it really interesting and really engaging, and you're going to make it really fun right? And you see that with the section here. I'm making the cards go across, and I'm pantomiming the cards go across and using various different lines. It's just really important to keep the people engaged. That's really important, and build up the impossibility of what they're about to see. I know there's an expression in magic which is you never tell the audience ahead of time what's going to happen, and that's absolutely fine. And I agree with that in some situations. In this situation, I like people to know what I'm going to do because it feels so impossible, and yet still it happens. And you see the reaction of the people that are watching this. They absolutely can't believe it. Now, this is a great routine to do. I mean, obviously, I performed it after an ambitious card, but it's a great routine to do to transition from a coins across. A lot of the time, I'll use a cards across to transition from a coin trick into a card trick, because I've done coins across, and I say, well, hang on a minute here. Well, you've seen the coins go across. Let's try something bigger. Let's try playing cards. And now you're apparently doing the same thing with cards, whilst in actual fact you're not. And you are doing the same thing, but because the method's different, it plays bigger while still being in essence the same trick. And again, the one other thing I want you to notice here is that I'm engaging everybody. Everybody in the audience is being engaged all the way through. So with that in mind, that's all I've got to say about that, other than if you don't perform cards across, you really should, because it's really a classic of magic. And this version, very simple, very direct, but works really well.
One last one. With a pack of playing cards.
Concentrate. I've got to do one more trick.
One more trick.
One more trick.
One more trick. With a pack of 52 playing cards. And what's your name? Miranda. Will you help me? Is that all right, Miranda?
Yeah.
Wonderful. No, you're going to help me. Miranda, Falcon. Take any card that you want. Any card that you like. Remember the card. Don't forget it. Just say stop. Put the card back there. Did everyone else, just in case you didn't see it, that's the card.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Question: how many cards roughly down in that? There's an ace that's face up there. How many cards down would you say the card is?
How many cards?
It's about 26. And I want you to see that it's really going in there.
Yeah.
Do you want to shuffle or leave them as they are?
I don't mind.
Well, you know what? I'll actually give them a shuffle, but I'll give them a very special shuffle. You see, most magicians will shuffle like this, and then they will cut, and they'll try and find your card. I'm going to go one step further. This is going to be incredible. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take half the cards face up, half the cards face down, and I'm going to shuffle them face up and face down. Now, there's a technical term for this. It's called a mess. Because if you think about it, you've got some cards face down, you've got some cards face up, and as I push them together, you can see these face-up cards being shuffled into face down. So that when I go through the cards, you can see that they're face to back, you can see the back to face to face, and as I continue to cut, they continue to get more and more mixed up. If I asked you to sort these cards out so they're all facing the right way, how long do you reckon it would take? A long time. I'm going to sort them out in 1 second and find your card. Done. No, seriously, because now the cards are facing the right way. But I want you to tell me if you see your card.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, if you see your card. Because you see there's one card face down. You see, that's why you won't see your card, because all these cards are face up, but there's one card.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love it.
Hang on. Don't turn it over just yet. What was the name of your card?
The King of Diamonds.
Here's the thing, it's Miranda, right? It stands to reason there's another 3 cards in this deck that are kings, because there's 4 kings in the deck. And you could have picked any card, you picked a king. If I told you that I could take the deck with one hand, and I told you I could cut the deck with one hand, and I told you I could shuffle the deck with one hand, kind of, and with one hand I could find your card, would that be good? Yeah?
Brilliant.
The other 3 kings, if I could find the other...
You've got it, haven't you?
No, those are all of them. You know what's weird though? You know what though? It's not about how I made the cards go the right way. It's not how I found your cards. It's not how I found the other 3 kings. It's about what happened at the end of the trick to every other card in the deck. You can keep those. Oh, you don't mind them. You don't mind me, am I? Thank you.
It's incredible. Oh no!
Your ear, darling.
Oh, they were behind her ear! Oh no! Stop it!
That is stunning.
Thank you so much.
It's so stunning.
Thank you so much. You're very clever.
Right, okay, so this is the Triumph routine that you can learn off my Penguin Live. And it's also one that's on the Netrix, and it's just a shuffle deck of cards in use. It's probably my favourite Triumph to perform. Now, there's a few things to talk about with this. And the first is, as I talk about quite a lot on a lot of these videos, engaging everybody. Now, you see how I got that lady to pick a card by spreading the faces out so that they can see the cards. I like to do that wherever possible. And the reason I like to do that is because it really kind of makes them feel like they have a free choice. Now, in this case, they have a free choice, but later on I'm doing a 4-of-a-kind production. So by giving them an apparent free choice, or it is a free choice, but by making them realize it's a free choice, it means that the ending is going to be more impossible. Now, I love controls. That's the slipstream control again. I love controls where they can see the card being pushed into the pack. I really do. And the other thing is, you'll see a Browy reversal done here. I know a lot of magicians look down on the Browy reversal, but it is really, really effective. And I don't understand why some magicians don't like it. I really don't. Now, I genuinely believe that when you're doing a Triumph, you want to make sure that the display for the face-up, face-down mix is deceptive as possible. And what we have here is a very deceptive face-up, face-down mix, and that's very, very important. And that's what you really need in a routine like this. Now, there's a couple of things I want to point out to you here, okay? Some very important things. And the first thing that I want to point out is this routine ends with a 4-of-a-kind production. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be culling the 3 matching cards. So I got a peek during the course of the routine. I know what their card is. So as I spread to show that all the cards are facing the right way, I'm going to cull the other mates of their card. Now this, for me, is the type of routine where it's the easiest way to learn how to do a cull. And the reason is, if you don't manage the cull, it doesn't matter. Because the effect from their point of view is one card's face down in the deck and it's their card. So that's the effect. Now, if I manage the cull, that's brilliant. I can go into the kicker ending. But if I don't manage the cull, it doesn't make any difference. So there's no pressure on the cull, which is really great. And the other thing is they're not looking for a cull. And the reason they're not looking for a cull is because they're focusing on looking for their card and seeing the face-down card in the deck. And because they're looking for the face-down card in the deck and they're looking at all the cards face-up, they miss the cull completely. So it's a fantastic way to actually, to do the cull and learn the cull and really master it. Now, you've then got the 4-of-a-kind production, which was obviously done completely on the offbeat. And I want you to notice here, as they're looking at those cards, I ditched the deck into my pocket and I put the cards on top and I'm holding it as if it's a deck. A lot of magicians ask me how you do this sort of stuff. How do you ditch a deck of cards? How do you hold a situation like this where there's no deck and people think there is? And the way that you do it, and it's really important, I see a lot of magicians rush this. They put the deck in the pocket and they immediately show that all the cards aren't there. The key thing is, again, without labouring the point, don't run if you're not being chased. Nobody's going to be, everyone saw there was a deck there a second ago. Nobody at any point is going to think, oh, he's just put the deck in his pocket. They're going to look down, they're going to see cards, they're going to think it's a regular pack of cards. So it allows you to talk for a few seconds. It allows you to build up time misdirection between when the trick, basically to build up time misdirection between when the vanish happens from a perceived point of view and when it happens from an actual point of view. So it actually happens when I put the deck in my pocket. But if I can leave it 30 seconds or so until they actually perceive the deck vanishing, they won't have anywhere to go. They won't be thinking about anything else because there's been so much time misdirection. The one other point to think about here, and which is a very important point, is at the end you saw me just make the cards vanish and pull them from behind the kid's ear. A lot of magicians look at that as cliche, but for some people that's one of the most magical things that you can do. They might have had a granddad or an elder relative who pulled things from behind their ears. So if you do that as an offbeat thing, then it's going to resonate with them. And the other important point is you want to fill your performances with magic. You want to fill your performances with magic. And I'm a big believer of not having any dead time. So, if you can have a vanish and something is behind their ear or a pen vanishes, after they've signed a card or whatever it is, you just want to have as many magical moments as you can. And that's the other thing I want you to take home from watching this performance. So guys, that's the live performance special right here on Magic TV. Thank you once again for joining me, and thank you once again for being a part of this video. Don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, all you got to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. It's really important to subscribe. We've got big goals to hit on this channel, and you can help us. And if you have not already done so, please go and join the Netrix, www.thenetrix.co.uk. I get people all of the time asking me how they can support this channel, and they love my videos. If you want to support me, go and subscribe to the Netrix. Just give it a shot and see what you think. I'm really proud of that platform. I spend more time building that platform up and adding features into that platform and doing things with that platform than anything else. For us, it's a long-term goal to make it absolutely amazing. We promised when we launched 3 months ago, we would be uploading 5 new tricks every single fortnight. We have not missed one upload schedule, despite me doing BGT with Ryland, despite me going to Magic Live, despite me being incredibly busy and performing all over the country. I still continuing to hit that upload schedule. You want to support the channel? Go and check out www.thenetrix.com. But regardless, I'm going to be back again tomorrow with another video. Thanks very much for joining me. My name's Craig from Magic TV.